The button has been pressed. Hello haters. Thanks for coming back to watch Copycat Vlog. If you like what I'm saying, please don't shy away. Subscribe to my channel. I will be very, this is how much appreciative I will get. Some days to go before my birthday. And before it happens, I go into this really weird existential phase where I'm starting thinking, what have I done with my life, whether I'm on the right track, what's coming up next. And weirdly enough, I only get it like, I don't know, 2 weeks before my birthday. On my actual birthday, I'm completely fine. But before it, I'm just becoming a complete mess or philosopher or whatever people would like to call it. Man, I just get like really weird and I can't sleep at night, I'm thinking so much, and I'm sure some of you are familiar with that. So, in attempt of understanding this topic a little further, I decided to Google it. And when I put I'm scared of, one of the first things was death. And then after that there was I'm scared of my own dog, which is an entirely different story. I'm sorry for this person. And then the third search was I'm scared of losing someone. But essentially all of these searches, they come from the fear of death. The fear of getting old, of course, has a name. And thanks to the internet, now I know that it's called geraskophobia. It originates from Greek and it means literally I'm getting old. So the question is, why does it scare the hell out of people to get old? When you look at it closer, it actually becomes understandable. Media, advertising, everywhere you look, getting old is portrayed as not something great. It's actually portrayed like some sort of weakness. From there, it just went downhill. We all dream of, becoming this Benjamin Button person when you're born old. The first unconscious year, which is normally your youth, instead you're being old. So when you come to this ripe age of your life, you're actually, on top of being beautiful, you're also super smart. So that's like a formula that everyone wants.
I was born under unusual circumstances. While everybody else was aging, I was getting younger, all alone.
We have to learn from our mistakes. All of us went through teenage years, which were tough, let's face it. I'm about to turn 29, and honestly, if you ask me, I don't wish I would repeat my teenagehood. It was great, it was beautiful in some parts, but there were so many things that were really confusing, and I think I'm happy to be where I am right now. So that's why I completely don't get why do I feel scared to get older. From what I learned to this point of my life, I learned that actually by becoming older, I'm becoming better. And it's not like just, a straightforward progression where I became older and I became the smartest version of myself. I think what we have to accept about ourselves is that it's not just progression, there is also a regression. Sometimes I'm becoming older and smarter, then I'm becoming also dumber in certain things. And that's also okay, because the way life is being portrayed to us is just uphill. You only go up, and if you dare to make one mistake, oh my god. And I think that's what's the problem with our society. We forget that adults are just kids as well. And it's just all these layers of age that you multiply. But in the end of the day, all of us connect like we are 3 when we are 40. I've met people who are 15 or 10, but they act much wiser and much mature than they are. Speaking about all these layers of age, I really love this idea. And talking about it was inspired by one of the short stories that I really love. And I'm going to read it to you right now. It might be awkward because I won't be looking into the camera, I don't know it by heart, but I figured out it's okay if I just read some small parts from it. It was written by Sandra Cisneros. What they don't understand about birthdays and what they never tell you is that when you're 11, you're also 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And when you wake up on your 11th birthday, you expect to feel 11, but you don't. You open your eyes and everything is just like yesterday, only it's today. and you don't feel 11 at all. You feel like you're still 10, and you are underneath the year that makes you 11. I just think it captions how I feel about the age. Often we meet people and they seem so wise and so smart, and you're at your place in life. Maybe you're not there yet, but you think, oh my God, this person is so wise because of their age. But what we forget is that it just doesn't come like that to a person. Of course it's because of their age, but that's a certain beauty about it, that to get there, the person went through so many experiences and they will be different from yours. And it's okay. And it's okay to tell yourself that no one becomes wise immediately, and everyone's journey is very different, and that's also okay. In my special section, Female Power, hashtag Girls Power, I want to speak about how women also face the age differently to men. When you meet an older guy, there is even an expression in English which I think goes something like silver fox. So you find an old guy charming. You find a lot of actors, and it's a simple example from Hollywood. Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, George Clooney, I can go on with the list. Whereas for females, of course, it's very different, because a lot of women simply struggle to get the jobs. Acting is just the area of entertainment which people are most interested in, so it's the simplest one to illustrate this. Being a woman, one of your main values is just being attractive. Whereas for men, obviously it's not. It's being strong, it's being smart. And I think we live in the times where slowly but surely it's changing, but of course change takes time. One of the recent examples, Keanu Reeves went with his partner who looked older than him, and he received a lot of backlash from society. A lot of people were judging him and saying that he deserves a better woman, and I'm not going to really go into all those ugly comments that people left, but basically the situation just illustrates all the problems with ageism, and why do people are so mean and so ugly about this, and why do you have to compare people and like just put two people in a row that you think is a good match, but if a woman doesn't look like a supermodel, then she's not the right fit for someone like Keanu Reeves. I wish I lived in a world where I could say I'm getting old and I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of every single year I lived through. Thanks to my body, it might not be perfect, it might have wrinkles, my skin might not be the way I see it in the magazines, but whose skin is like that? I don't think this type of skin ever exists, so let's stop lying to ourselves. I admire someone like Jamila Jamil. She's a really cool actress from the TV series The Good Place. She just posted a picture of herself, her real self, with some cellulitis, some skin imperfections. And I think that's the best thing about it all, just being real. And if you see role models who represent it like that, then you also understand that there is no problem with being imperfect. You can be imperfectly perfect and still be okay and still be accepted by the society. This speech is meant to be therapeutic for myself, because the truth is that I still can't come to terms with the fact that I'm getting older, and okay, this year's fine, it's fine, I'm 29 and that's okay. But the next year I'm entering the big, scary 30s that, you know, everyone is talking about. And it's like this midlife crisis, whatever it's called. Maybe it's not there yet, but okay, wait, it's coming. And you already put so much pressure on yourself. And for what? Maybe nothing's gonna happen. I'm just getting better. That's the mindset we all need to be in. And I read it somewhere and I quite liked it, that at the age of 30 years old, you've been adult only for 12 years of your life. So relax. You don't have to achieve it all. You know, there is Meryl Streep. She started her acting career way later than all the other actors, and look at her now. And there are so many inspiring examples which actually show that age has never been an obstacle. Once I went to Sweden and we were staying in a hostel, and while we were having breakfast, I ran into this older woman, but in my head I would always call her a lady. And she struck me because, you know, she had all the best manners and she was so lovely, so polite, and she was speaking to me so nicely. We had a conversation, and after a moment I asked her, by the way, can I ask you, why are you staying in hostel? What brings you here? And she said, well, I'm I'm 60 years old now, but I realized, what have I been doing with my life? I liked literature all my life, so why not to try and study it? So now I'm applying for master's degree to study literature, and yeah, why not? I decided to stay here in hostel. And unfortunately, I cannot speak for all the countries, but I can speak about Russia. And in Russia, after you turn 40, people already think about their pensions, they talk about dying. Life expectancy in my country is also not the highest. And I think the most important thing is the mindset. Of course, if you're already preparing for your funeral at the age of 40, maybe that's not a good signal. And I'm not by any means saying that getting old is a bad thing. I actually feel it's the opposite. Instead of playing this game, we should say, okay, that's enough. I'm old and I'm cool, and it's not about just my looks. I can still be cool even if I'm 70. And I'm not meaning cool like, there are these grandmas who are 78 years old and they just say, forget all the rules, I'm gonna wear hot pink just because I'm feeling like it, and I'm gonna buy myself a Maltese and I'm just gonna be rocking in the skirt. I just mean accept yourself the way you are, and that's what I'm learning. One more thing that I think contributes to my fear of getting older and fear of my birthdays is a lot of expectations. Because since I was very small in my family, maybe a month before my birthday, sometimes months, not just 1 month, my mom, my whole family would be asking me, so who are you inviting for your birthday party? And I would be like, oh my god, not again. They put so much pressure on me that it's my birthday, it's supposed to be my day, like it's supposed to be fun. I shouldn't be stressing over all these invitations. And of course, there are people that, if you invite this person, you have to invite that person, because then this person gets mad at you and then they never speak to you ever again in their life. And it's all just overwhelming, it's too much. In the end, you end up worrying about entertaining people. I think last year I invited people that I really care about. It was in Madrid and they were all very different. I was a little nervous about the vibe, how will everything go. And luckily I just had a blast. All the people were super lovely, they got along, they had conversations. I was really relaxed and it was one of the best birthdays that I had. And I planned it not so far ahead, it was like the last minute thing. And I was still worried, but in the end of the day, it just proved to me that I'm friends with some cool people. So thank you guys for making it so special. National Bureau of Economic Research, well, I sound like a scientist, I'm not, but they published a paper, just stay with me. And this paper was talking about so-called U-curve of happiness. According to this curve, and you can see it on your screen now, the happiest we can be is at the beginning of our lives and towards the end. So actually this part of our life when we are 20, 30, 40 is our unhappiest time. So why is that? Probably because, again, all the expectations, everyone wants you to be perfect, everyone thinks that this is the peak of their lives. But this is probably the most dangerous moment. I really like the story about one very successful actress. When she already achieved a lot of things, she was asked, if you could go back to your youth time, what would you change? And she said, I would just tell myself, relax, take it easy. And of course, we don't know if she would have achieved all the things that she have by simply relaxing, because we all know that in order to achieve things, to be successful, you have to put a lot of effort in it. But it's kind of the advice that I'm giving myself right now. I'm telling myself, leave yourself alone. And some might call it fuck off from yourself. And I think this is the best psychological advice I ever received, because the amount of stress and worry about how good we are we normal, are we enough? Now I'm 29, have I achieved all the list of things, tick, tick, tick. And seriously guys, look around. Everything from everywhere translates you that getting older means getting worse at something. Romance disappears from your life, you don't have a job, and it's true, maybe you're not as fast, maybe you're not as mentally quick, but oh my god, did you see that? I just did this and the lights has turned on. How cool is that? Maybe I'm a magician. Maybe this was a sign, enlightening of my life. Me talking about fears of my age, of my birthday, and doing this, and look, don't jump. I always find it confusing how to end these vlogs, but in this one, I think I want to end it with a quote by one of my favorite writers called Boris Akunin, who is Russian. And he said about the age that a good person is like a good wine. So if you're being kept in the right conditions, if you're being properly stored and with love, with care to yourself, then you only get better. I think that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.